Madridistas, attention! Today, I want to address a topic that has been making waves not only in Spain but across Europe, a subject that could change the trajectory of the greatest football club in the world, Real Madrid. There is a name echoing in the corridors of the footballing universe, a name sparking excitement, heated debates, and even controversy: Nico Williams. Yes, the young and electrifying winger from Athletic Club de Bilbao, who has dazzled with the Spanish national team and who is rapidly becoming recognized as one of the brightest rising stars in world football. And here's the point that makes the rumor so thrilling: he could very well become Real Madrid's next great signing. Now, let's make one thing very clear from the start. This is not just another fleeting rumor, the kind that tends to dominate transfer windows and fade away as quickly as they appear. This is a possibility that carries weight. If it were to materialize, it would not only strengthen Real Madrid's squad but also symbolize a generational shift, an investment in both the present and the future. Nico Williams is more than just a promising winger. He represents speed, skill, unpredictability, and a kind of natural explosiveness that is incredibly rare in today's football. He is the sort of player who can transform games with a single action, the kind who lifts entire stadiums to their feet with a sudden burst of brilliance. When we talk about Nico Williams, we must talk about his defining qualities. His pace is breathtaking, the type of raw speed that puts defenders on high alert before he even touches the ball. His ability to beat opponents one-on-one is reminiscent of the classic wingers of the past, players who thrived on improvisation, flair, and courage. Yet Nico is not simply a throwback. He is a modern footballer, intelligent in his movements, tactically versatile, and increasingly efficient in the final third. To watch him glide down the left flank, using his acceleration and quick decision-making, is to witness a player who feels destined for the grandest of stages. But what elevates Nico above so many other young prospects is the aura he carries. He plays with joy, confidence, and a fearlessness that can't be taught. Every time he steps on the pitch for Spain, he proves that he belongs among the elite. No longer is he simply Inaki Williams' younger brother. He is Nico Williams, a talent in his own right, one of the faces of the next generation of Spanish football. And it is precisely this combination of youth, charisma, and proven ability that has made him such a compelling target for Real Madrid. To understand the potential impact of this signing, one must look at Real Madrid's current context. The club is in a perpetual state of transition, balancing the unrelenting demands of the present with the necessity of constructing the future. This is the paradox of being Real Madrid, the obligation to win now while also laying the foundations to dominate tomorrow. Few leaders understand this delicate balance as well as Florentino Perez. For him, every transfer is a chess move, carefully calculated, strategically designed, not just to fill a gap but to anticipate the next evolution of the squad. Nico Williams, at just 21 years old, fits perfectly into this vision. There is, of course, an elephant in the room: the future of Vinicius Jr. The Brazilian star, one of the central figures of Madrid's attack in recent seasons, has been linked with a potential move to the Premier League. Clubs like Manchester City, Liverpool, and Chelsea would all be willing to make staggering offers for him. Should such a transfer materialize, Real Madrid would need an immediate replacement, someone capable of offering that same level of dynamism and unpredictability on the left wing. Nico Williams, with his blistering pace and fearless attacking instincts, could step into that role seamlessly. But even if Vinicius stays, and many Madridistas hope he will, signing Nico Williams would not be redundant. On the contrary, it would be a statement of intent, a reinforcement of depth, and a preparation for the future. Real Madrid has long thrived not by reacting to problems but by anticipating them. Think of when the club signed Luka Modric despite already having an established midfield. Or when it secured young talents like Eduardo Camavinga, Aurelien Tchouameni, and most recently Endrick, long before their true primes. Madrid plans years ahead, and Nico Williams could be the next puzzle piece in this long-term strategy. Another fascinating layer to this potential signing lies in the identity it could help restore. In recent years, Real Madrid has leaned heavily on foreign talent, successfully of course, but often at the expense of Spanish players who connect directly with the home fan base. Nico Williams, as a Spanish international and one of the emerging leaders of La Roja, would bring back a sense of national pride to the Bernabeu. His presence would not only bolster the team on the pitch but also strengthen the club's image off it, creating a bridge between Real Madrid and Spanish supporters who yearn to see domestic talent leading the charge once again. Yet, as with all things related to Athletic Club, the path will not be easy. Athletic is unlike any other club in Spain. They do not sell their players unless forced, and their policy is simple. If you want one of their stars, you must pay the release clause. For Nico Williams, this figure reportedly sits between €50 and €60 million, a sum that, while significant, is entirely feasible for a club of Real Madrid's financial stature. Considering his potential, this could prove to be a bargain in the long run, much like the investments Madrid made in young Cristiano Ronaldo, Vinicius, or Rodrigo. To put things into perspective, let us recall history. When Cristiano Ronaldo arrived in 2009, he was not just a signing. He was a symbol of a new era, a guarantee of dominance for the next decade. When Luis Figo crossed the divide from Barcelona in 2000, it was not only a sporting coup but a political statement that redefined Spanish football. Nico Williams may not yet carry the same aura of global superstardom, but in terms of timing, strategy, and potential impact, his arrival could be just as transformative. He represents the beginning of something new, a Madrid that blends Spanish identity with modern dynamism, a Madrid that once again seeks to dominate Europe not only with established stars but also with fearless youth. Madridistas must understand, the signing of Nico Williams would not be about filling a gap, it would be about shaping the future. He is not merely a player for the next season, he is a project for the next decade. His growth alongside the likes of Jude Bellingham, Endrick, Rodrigo, and potentially Kylian Mbappe, whose name still hovers around the Bernabeu like destiny itself, would form the backbone of a Real Madrid side built to rule world football for years to come. So, what happens next? The answer lies, as it always does, with Florentino Perez and his trusted circle of advisors. They must weigh the cost, the opportunity, and the timing. But one thing is certain, Nico Williams' name is not going away. It will continue to echo in headlines, in fan forums, and in the collective imagination of Madridistas everywhere. Because he is more than just a player, he is a possibility, a vision, a glimpse of what the next great Real Madrid might look like. And so we wait. Will Nico Williams wear the iconic white shirt and step onto the Santiago Bernabeu pitch as the crowd roars his name? Nobody can say for sure today. But one thing is undeniable. The very thought of it has already ignited the imagination of Madridistas around the world. And in football, as in life, sometimes dreams are the first step toward reality. Yes, Madridistas. As hard as it may be to imagine, the possibility exists. The Brazilian star, one of the brightest jewels in Real Madrid's crown, could be setting his sights on a new chapter in England. This is not some fleeting rumor or baseless speculation. The Premier League, with its bottomless financial resources and relentless ambition, is circling. English clubs are prepared to put astronomical figures on the table, the kind of sums that can shake even the strongest institutions in European football. The pressure is not imagined. It is tangible, constant, and very real. Florentino Perez, however, has never been a president who waits for events to unfold before reacting. His legacy at Real Madrid is defined by anticipation, by foresight, and by the ability to maneuver before others even recognize that a move is necessary. Florentino understands that at a club like Real Madrid, improvisation is not an option. Every transfer, every project, every step must be calculated with military precision. And in this particular case, the name that has emerged as the clearest symbol of that anticipatory vision is none other than Nico Williams. At Valdebebas, the analysis has not been rushed, nor has it been superficial. Every angle has been considered, every possible outcome explored. The question is not simply whether Nico Williams is fast, whether he can beat defenders in one-on-one situations, or whether he can provide a spark of creativity on the flanks. Those are mere surface-level qualities. The real question is whether he embodies the DNA required to succeed at Real Madrid. The mentality, the hunger, the resilience, and the capacity to shoulder the enormous weight of expectation that comes with the white shirt. And the conclusion, after long hours of study, is affirmative. Because Nico Williams is not just pace and dribbling. He is youth combined with maturity, ambition tempered by humility, and raw talent that has already been sharpened in one of the most demanding leagues in the world. At just 22 years of age, he finds himself at the perfect crossroads. He is no longer a raw prospect who requires years of development, nor is he a veteran whose best years are behind him. He is entering his prime, with a wide horizon of growth ahead of him, and with the personality to handle the pressure that Madrid places on its stars. In the eyes of the club's hierarchy, this is not a temporary fix nor a stopgap measure. It is an investment in the future, a cornerstone of a long-term plan designed to keep Real Madrid at the summit of world football for the next decade. And make no mistake, this is not solely a presidential initiative. The technical staff, under the guidance of the new manager, has given their blessing as well. The coach, who understands more than anyone the challenges of inheriting the Bernabeu dugout, views Nico as an asset who could adapt seamlessly from day one. His versatility allows him to operate on either wing, his relentless energy makes him a nightmare in one-on-one duels, and his ability to link up with high-quality teammates means that he would not disrupt the delicate balance of Madrid's attack. Quite the opposite, he would enhance it. Now, imagine for a moment, Nico Williams exploding down the wing, combining with Jude Bellingham, exchanging quick passes with Rodrigo, or feeding Kylian Mbappe, if that long-awaited transfer finally materializes. Imagine a front line with that kind of dynamism, unpredictability, and firepower. Few defenses in Europe could withstand such a storm. Nico's runs would create space, his dribbles would destabilize structures, and his presence alone would inject the kind of freshness and intensity that has historically defined Real Madrid's great eras of dominance. But transfers at this level are never about the club alone. There is a personal dimension that cannot be ignored, the desire of the player himself. Nico Williams, by all accounts, feels a deep sense of gratitude toward Athletic Club. The Basque side has shaped him, molded him, and given him the stage to show the world what he is capable of. Yet every footballer eventually faces the same crossroads: remain where they are comfortable, or take the leap into the unknown in search of greatness. Nico is fully aware that he is entering a decisive stage of his career. For him, the questions are simple but profound. Where can he compete for every major trophy, every single season? Where can he grow surrounded by some of the best footballers in the world? Where can he test himself in stadiums like the Santiago Bernabeu, Old Trafford, and Wembley, under the most intense spotlight football has to offer? The answer, more and more, points unmistakably toward Real Madrid. Of course, nothing in football is ever straightforward. The Athletic Club board will not let him leave easily. They know his value, not just as a player but as a symbol, as a homegrown star in a club that has built its identity on loyalty and tradition. Negotiating with Athletic is never a simple task, especially when it involves a talent as unique as Nico. The release clause is high, and the emotional ties between player and club run deep. But history has shown us time and again that when Florentino Perez identifies a footballer as strategic, as essential to Real Madrid's project, he does not relent. From Figo to Cristiano Ronaldo, from Kaká to Hazard, the president has always found a way to turn vision into reality. Nico Williams, then, is not just a potential signing. He represents something larger, a statement of intent. A message to Europe and to the world that Real Madrid, despite constant challenges, will always rebuild, will always anticipate, and will always find a way to maintain its supremacy. For Madridistas, the thought of Nico in white is not just exciting, it is emblematic of the future they crave. And so, as the Premier League clubs sharpen their offers and whisper promises of wealth and glory, the Bernabeu watches and waits. The fans know that change is coming, that decisions must be made, and that the next chapter in this saga could define the coming years. If the Brazilian star does depart, Madrid will not crumble. It never has. Instead, it will evolve, adapt, and emerge even stronger. And perhaps, just perhaps, that evolution will be embodied in a young Basque winger named Nico Williams, flying down the flanks, ready to inscribe his name into the eternal book of Madrid legends. Of course, Athletic Club will not make things easy. They never do, and perhaps that is precisely what makes them so unique in the modern football landscape. Athletic is not just a football institution, it is a cultural symbol, a living monument to the Basque country and to a philosophy that has survived in an era where global markets, television rights, and transfer wars dominate every conversation. In a world where players move across continents at the first sign of a lucrative contract, Athletic continues to hold firm to a principle that has defined its history for well over a century. Only fielding players born or raised in the Basque region. That tradition, passed down through generations, makes every footballer who wears the red and white jersey more than just a professional athlete. He becomes a representative of the people, a defender of a unique identity, and a figure who carries with him the weight of community pride. Within this sacred framework, Nico Williams has emerged not only as a promising talent, but as a beacon of Athletic's future. He is the product of Lezama, the legendary academy that has given the world countless stars, and he embodies everything the Basques cherish: pace, daring, technique, and a relentless competitive spirit. For Bilbao, losing a player like Nico is not just a sporting setback, it feels almost like handing over a piece of their soul. This is why every negotiation involving Athletic is charged with a sense of defiance, of stubborn resistance. And yet, football has its own rhythm, and sometimes even tradition must bow to ambition. The difference in this case lies not so much in Athletic's resistance, but in the player's own will and in Real Madrid's unmatched ability to craft a compelling project. Because this is not about numbers alone. This is not about meeting a release clause or offering astronomical wages. This is about vision, about a once-in-a-generation opportunity, and about the undeniable magnetism of a club that represents the pinnacle of football. Florentino Perez, the architect of Real Madrid's modern dynasty, understands this better than anyone. His presidency has been marked by iconic operations: the Galacticos era, the rebuilding after the Cristiano Ronaldo chapter, the rise of Vinicius, Rodrigo, and Bellingham. And now, he recognizes that bringing Nico Williams to the Bernabeu is not just another signing, it is an investment in the future identity of the club. Florentino is prepared to go the extra mile financially, not because he sees Nico as a market trend, but because he views him as an anchor for the next decade. To him, this is about much more than replacing a departing star. It is about making a statement, about showing that Real Madrid remains proactive rather than reactive. Where other clubs wait, Madrid acts. Where others dream, Madrid builds. The president knows that the present generation has to be secured with fresh energy, that the squad cannot simply live off the brilliance of past icons. By moving decisively for Nico, he is sending a message not only to Spain, but to the entire footballing world. Real Madrid never lags behind, Real Madrid always anticipates the next wave. And let us pause for a moment to consider what this would mean for the fans. Imagine the Santiago Bernabeu, that cathedral of football, on a Champions League night. The lights shining, the anthem echoing through the stands, 80,000 voices roaring in unison. Now imagine a young Nico Williams, with his trademark speed and audacity, sprinting down the flank, leaving defenders in his wake, igniting the crowd with every touch of the ball. This would not just be a tactical reinforcement, it would be an injection of pure electricity into the veins of Madridismo. Supporters live for these moments. The debut of a player who is not just a name on the team sheet but a promise, a glimpse into the next glorious chapter of the club's history. For Madridistas, Nico Williams would represent continuity as much as change. He would be the embodiment of freshness, a reminder that the club's ambition remains as sharp as ever. In an era when Vinicius Jr. has taken up the mantle of superstardom but now faces uncertainties about his future, Nico could arrive as both a complement and, eventually, a successor. Real Madrid has always thrived on transitions. When Di Stefano passed the torch, there was Gento. When the era of the Quinta del Buitre faded, Raúl emerged. When Cristiano Ronaldo departed, few believed anyone could fill the void, and yet the team reinvented itself around a new generation of leaders. Nico, in this sense, could be the next great torchbearer, the symbol of ambition renewed. And the truth is, other European giants have looked at him, but none with the same intensity or conviction. Barcelona flirted with the idea for months, discussed his name internally, even dreamed of pairing him with their young talents. Yet they never managed to put together a concrete, solid offer. Financial instability, strategic hesitation, and a lack of clarity about their future direction meant their interest fizzled before it became real. Paris Saint-Germain, ever eager to flash financial muscle, also tried to court him with lucrative promises. But money is not everything, not in a decision of this magnitude. Paris lacks the heritage, the aura, the inevitability of greatness that Real Madrid carries in its DNA. Joining PSG might mean wealth, but joining Madrid means eternity. That, ultimately, is what sets Madrid apart, the sense that you are not just signing a contract, but entering into a legacy. To wear the white shirt is to become part of something that transcends generations, borders, and eras. Florentino Perez has never forgotten this. His great genius is that he sees beyond the immediate. For him, planning is not improvisation, it is foresight. And Nico Williams fits perfectly into this grand vision. He is young, Spanish, hungry, and versatile. He represents the kind of profile that ensures both domestic impact and global resonance. To bring him in would not only strengthen the team, it would reaffirm the Madrid identity in a way that no other club in the world could replicate. This is why, if the operation materializes, it would not be described merely as a transfer. It would be a declaration of intent. A demonstration that Real Madrid continues to dictate the tempo of world football. While others hesitate, Madrid acts. While others try to compete financially, Madrid offers something beyond money: immortality. And in the end, what is at stake is not just a player, but a future. Madridistas are fully aware of the shifting sands of football. They know stars come and go. They have seen icons lift trophies and then move on. But they also know that every departure opens the door for a new arrival, a new leader, a new hero. If Vinicius Jr. were to leave, the void would be immense, but Madrid has never been afraid of voids. It has always filled them, and often with someone who not only matched expectations but exceeded them. Nico Williams has all the attributes to be that figure. He is not just speed and flair, he is determination, work ethic, and ambition. He is not only present, he is future. Madridistas, the choice is clear. The club must act, and act decisively. Because Real Madrid does not live in the past, no matter how glorious it may be. It lives in the present, with its eyes always fixed on the horizon. The pursuit of Nico Williams is not simply about signing a player. It is about ensuring that the white shirt continues to symbolize excellence, ambition, and destiny fulfilled. In football, legacies are built on moments of courage, on the willingness to move before others dare, on the clarity to see potential where others see only risk. Real Madrid has built its empire on exactly that. And now, with Nico Williams in sight, the story could begin again. Because at Real Madrid, history is not preserved in museums. It is written day after day, in the roar of the Bernabeu and in the brilliance of players who seize their moment. Nico Williams could be the next name to etch himself into that eternal story.